So you may have noticed that we've been talking 4K a lot with a lot of our guests, and it's quite important that we get this right. And one of the guys I'm sure who's going to be able to help us is Lewis Kirkaldie from Cinegy. Hi Lewis, thank you for coming on. We've spoken before, we spoke at NAB,
yes.
And you were showing new players and stuff to do with video over IP and things from there. As I said, 4K's been mentioned quite a bit, and you guys have got some 4K solutions as well, and again, it's IBC. We always like to hear new stuff and about what's going on. So tell us a little bit, for a start, about Cinegy if they don't know, and what you're showing here at IBC.
Yeah, no, thanks, John. So at Cinegy, we're a software company.
Yep.
So we build software. We'll only ever ship you a little silver license dongle.
Yep.
So we're all about commodity IT, installing software onto standard Windows platforms with standard storage, and seeing what can get done with that.
Yep.
And we started out with asset management and desktop editing, desktop asset management,
yep.
collaboration, and then as we went on from there, we moved into software-based playout servers,
yep.
And then we've built up over the last 6-7 years now some IP management tooling, IP encoders and software, and a lot of work's been gone into making that whole IP broadcast chain flow.
So we're talking, if we let's mention 4K, I mean 4K over IP, and surely, I mean, we're talking about massive bandwidth here, and we're talking about lots of storage. How's this work?
Not necessarily. So, I mean, in the industry, again, you've got people, it depends what you're doing with the content. So if you're going to do some color correction, grading, you need the dynamic range. Obviously 4K, it wants a lot of space and capacity to breathe.
Yeah.
And so in the content production stage, you need to keep high bandwidth, hundreds and hundreds of megabits.
Yeah.
So we've just recently introduced support for the Sony SR Master format, which is the new Sony format for this. So we can directly import and store SR Master content that's still looking like it's got the high dynamic range, is really kind of grey and ready to be processed.
Yeah.
But then we can also run through and have HD proxies. It's funny that HD's a proxy now. Like an AVCI proxy of that in the asset management chain. But then when it comes down to the IP signaling and IP flows for us, that's getting a lot more, there's a lot more goes on life after content production than like distributing signals around cameras, playout servers, monitoring, recording boxes. There's a whole lot of places SDI would get used that you can actually take out and say, okay, well, I just need to make sure that the picture's moving. So even in 4K, it's like, well, we can just proxy that down and send off a 720p 25 2 megabit stream and get a good experience out of that. But actually on our booth, we were pretty pleased to see that the whole world was seeing IP. In the last 12, 18 months, a lot more people have been like, oh, IP, that's really interesting to us. And I was saying that to you before, the big buzzes were IP and 4K, and we had nothing at NAB to talk about with 4K, but now we do have 4K being demoed on our booth. So we have a 4K multi-viewer that can display its multi-view in 4K. It can take inputs in 4K in both SDI and IP, and then we've got a 4K software playout server. So our channel in the box platform has been upgraded to support 4K, and we've actually got the first versions of those running on the booth. So we like the idea of IP, we like the idea of 4K, so we thought 4K over IP.
Amazing. So the beauty of being able to do obviously something over IP is a lot of people have an infrastructure in already, and is the idea that they can then utilize that infrastructure they've already got.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, customers are always upgrading their commodity IT systems, and fortunately commodity IT has the whole pressure of the world pushing down on prices. So people either already have an investment, and that investment might just be in cabling throughout their building, or it might be in existing switches, and they can upgrade that, augment that, or maybe just use what they have. Depending upon bandwidths, you can actually still have very viable 4K oriented workflows that work with the proxy formats over 100 megabit link. So there's no reason to think that everything in 4K has to start with $20,000 monitors and incredibly large bundles of cables everywhere.
So if somebody's starting, for example, local TV channels or something like that, and they want to take 4K footage and they want to actually distribute that around, they no longer have to think about, right, I've got to run to an expensive monitor here or using expensive cabling with expensive kit. So being able to downscale that in software and render it up on a normal HD screen is a very useful thing, and you can still be looking at the same 4K signal, but the software is just saying you don't have a 4K monitor, crunch. So as far as the platform-wise, obviously you guys are softwares, so you supply software, that needs a platform to run on. What sort of platform do we have to look at in order to be able to deal with this?
I mean, we try to remain agnostic, but we tend to also quote people kind of HP models because they're well known and trusted. So just the normal HP DL series servers,
right,
like a DL380, and so my boss is always carefully watching what the latest press releases are from the IT industry around Intel CPUs and HP boxes and NVIDIA graphics cards. So I mean, if someone said to me, pick something right now that you'd know work, I'd be like, hand me that Z820, put me a GeForce card in or a Quadro card in from NVIDIA, and I'm happy.
And that can act as a server, that can take the ingestion, do
anything you want on them. This is the beauty of it. You get a powerful PC platform, and then you can change the identity of that box at the blink of an eye. So we actually just have a fleet, because we have quite small space concerns. Keeping things small at trade shows is good. We actually just put in a fleet of small kind of shuttle single processor boxes to run our whole booth. We just stack up a shelf of them, plug in Ethernet cables, and then go, that's a playout box, that's a multi-viewer, that's an archive MAM server.
Right, so once you've got this server in place and it's running its software, from then onwards, as far as if people want to view it, you're just looking at a player that you provide?
Yeah, so I mean, we just deploy software onto client desktops. So we can have our customers install any of our software to access any of our tools. But one of the things we do is we license things on engines. So a playout engine is licensed to run, and then you can just install the control client wherever you like. We don't charge more for that part. And the same thing with our archive and asset management system. You license the asset management system, and then you actually say, I would like there to be 10 connections to this. You can install the software on 100 machines, but 10 can run at once. So the license just floats. Which we've seen a number of customers have found this to be a very cost-effective way to get a lot of staff that come in and work at different times of the day to actually get on the system and spend a lot less on their total license.
So being obviously software-based, new updates and features, you can roll those out effectively over the web. Is there...
Yeah, we have a release to web policy where major versions and minor versions get posted to the web. But the total cost of ownership of software is something really quite remarkable. So some of our more major customers, like the BBC in Northern Ireland, they buy the little silver dongle now 5 years ago from us. We often have an idea of what they're installing on and how they're getting set up. But from then it kind of becomes invisible, and they switch out their storage, they switch out their servers as they migrate and consolidate. And we just keep shipping them software updates. And so their total cost of ownership means they've not had to have another big bang project where they roll in and go, we've got to go tapeless now, we've got to go HD now. They just take some software updates.
Brilliant. Lewis, thank you. Now, if people want to come and visit you here at IBC, I'm going to test you now.
It's Hall 7, A30.
You are exactly right. I'm impressed.
When you're on the corridor walking past the beach, you'll see all of our stickers on the wall. And then when you come down the escalators, you can't miss us. We're right there in the entrance to Hall 7 when you come down that corridor.
That's great, Lewis. And of course, we're streaming live to the world as we speak. Some people, believe it or not, can't actually make it to Amsterdam. Is there a website they can go to find out more?
There is www.cinegy.com, Cinegy. And from there you can also download trials of our stuff. We're software based, we like people to actually see if we mean what we're saying. So grab that Z820 off the shelf, install Cinegy Air and see if you can make a playout channel.
Excellent.
Try it for 30 days free. And also IBC, we're giving away another 1,000 Cinegy players.
Oh wow.
So we just got, we're the first company to be AMWA AS11 certified for DPP. Which is brilliant, and that's absolutely incredibly important for the UK. And Cinegy Player is a free player that plays that, decodes the metadata, and we give away 1,000 at IBC.
Brilliant. So, and if they want to get hold of one of those,
come and grab one at the stand. Come see us. They just grab a stand, grab a ticket, we scan their badge, and off they go.
Brilliant. Lewis, thank you very much for coming on. A pleasure always talking to you.
I'll see you again too soon.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, absolutely. If you want to go and have a look, find out everything about Cinegy, and you are going to be around the Amsterdam area, IBC is the place to be, and it's Hall 7 and it's stand A30, of course, their website, if you can't get here.